Reason is an illusion. There is a whole framework, a whole way of thinking about the world that we have all been indoctrinated to believe. And one of the many false premises on which that doctrine is based is reason, rationality. It is true to say that humans are rational creatures, but only in the sense that we rationalize our behavior or our thoughts after the fact. Humans do not come to conclusions through reason or through rational thought. I completely reject most of Enlightenment ideas. At their core, those ideas all presume that we can reason our way to correct conclusions. And what that means is that is a claim that humans primarily or exclusively can know truth through reason. That is not true. I don't know if it is possible in some small way maybe to know truth through reason, but if so, that is not primarily how humans perceive truth. Humans find truth or perceive truth, insofar as they do at all, by intuition. Truth is something that is more felt than reasoned to. This is not something that I'm going to convince anyone of, and I have no desire to convince anyone of anything. But those who have experience searching for truth will know that it is something that's felt. Something, when it feels true, when it resonates, or when it rings true, that's when you know it is worth consideration. But the process of consideration is not a rational evaluation of whether or not you think something is true based on logic. That's what the world will tell you you should think. But that's not how our minds actually operate. And to be very clear, I'm not saying that humans should operate with logic or reason, but they don't. I'm saying no human does, and it is probable that no human can. That's just not the nature of the human mind. The human mind picks a conclusion. All of us, myself included, it picks a conclusion, and then it finds a justification through logic or reason after the fact, because it knows that it's going to be asked to defend that conclusion to other people. The person who cares about truth really doesn't have any reason to care about whether or not he can justify his claims to other people. My feeling is that truth itself requires no justification. And that, by the way, that is almost a definition. Truth is that which is. But one of the ways that you know you have truth is that it requires no justification. And generally, when you see people trying to argue, trying to convince other people to agree with their perspective on anything, that is a signal that the person trying to do the convincing doesn't really feel in their bones that their perspective is actually solid truth. Because if they did feel that way, there would be no need on the part of that person to convince anyone else to agree with them. The truth does not need agreement from anyone. Any attempt by a person to convince someone else of something very often is in a way subconsciously just a way for that person to convince themselves of it. But when you arrive at something that's true and you feel it in your bones, there will be no need to convince yourself or anyone else of it, because it will be obvious. The truth has no need for your agreement.